Welcome to NACo's County Countdown. I'm Erin Hurley, NACo's Director of Government Affairs, running through the top issues that are important to counties as intergovernmental partners. First up, recent efforts to overturn flexibilities for the American Rescue Plan Act State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund. Last week, in a major win for counties, the Senate rejected a joint resolution that would have stripped flexibilities established by the U.S. Treasury Obligation Interim Final Rule, also known as an IFR. The IFR was designed to enable local leaders to invest state and local fiscal recovery fund resources from the American Rescue Plan Act in ways that best meet our community's needs. Ahead of the vote, NACo, along with the National League of Cities and Government Finance Officers Association, issued a press statement urging Congress to oppose the resolution, preserve practical flexibility, and uphold a strong intergovernmental partnership in our joint ongoing recovery efforts. Because the resolution failed, county flexibilities remain safe and in place for the state and local fiscal recovery fund. Second, Infrastructure Week. For more than a decade, a coalition of public and private stakeholders convene annually in May to showcase American infrastructure over 5 days in an event known as Infrastructure Week. Last week during Infrastructure Week, Miami-Dade County, Florida Commissioner and NACo Transportation Chair Eileen Higgins represented NACo in events where she highlighted local successes and challenges and uplifted the ongoing infrastructure needs of counties nationwide. As owners and operators of 45% of roads and 38% of bridges, and direct supporters of more than 1/3 of the nation's airports and public transit systems, counties were a driving force in this year's discussion. With the bipartisan infrastructure law set to expire in just 2 years, the week was a great opportunity to demonstrate how counties are turning federal investments into real-life projects that improve the quality of life of our residents and the nation's transportation network, and to rally support for continued local investments when the bipartisan infrastructure law expires in fiscal year 2026. Next up, reauthorization of the Federal Aviation Administration. Last Wednesday, the U.S. House of Representatives took a final step to pass a new 5-year Federal Aviation Administration reauthorization, sending it to President Biden's desk, who signed the legislation into law on May 17th. Over fiscal years 2024 through 2028, the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2024 will provide $105.5 billion for airport construction, safety upgrades, economic and workforce development, and other aviation-related items. Counties directly support over 1/3 of the nation's airports that provide critical services, keep Americans connected, and facilitate commerce, making the FAA reauthorization essential for communities nationwide. While the nearly year-long reauthorization project required 4 extensions of the 2018 FAA law, it resulted in a bipartisan compromise that addresses many county priorities, including an annual 20% increase in funding for airport development projects, codifying permit streamlining provisions for airport projects, and enshrining local decision-making. Next up, a new bill has been introduced that would continue funding for the Affordable Connectivity Program. The Affordable Connectivity Program, or ACP, provides eligible households discounted internet service and was authorized under the bipartisan infrastructure law. Currently, there are 23 million households enrolled in the program, which has helped bridge the digital divide across the nation. After a failed attempt to include funding for the ACP in the previous FAA reauthorization bill, Senator Lujan of New Mexico introduced a bipartisan bill that would provide funding and make programmatic changes to the ACP. The bill proposes funding the ACP at $6 billion. In addition, the bill includes programmatic changes such as reducing eligibility through changes to the income threshold, repealing the $100 connected device credit, and require the FCC to develop and implement anti-fraud controls. The bill is backed by several bipartisan senators to be introduced as a standalone bill. NACo strongly supports a permanent funding solution for the Affordable Connectivity Program that is sustainable and meets the needs of our residents. And finally, after months of negotiations, lawmakers on the Senate and House Agriculture Committees unveiled their competing frameworks for the 2024 Farm Bill reauthorization. Thanks to NACo's advocacy efforts, both proposals include key wins for county governments, including increased funding for rural development programs, certain improvements to federal nutrition programs, more robust support for new and beginning farmers, the expansion of key land management authorities to county governments, and a 3-year reauthorization of the Secure Rural Schools program. Although the House Agriculture Committee is set to debate and potentially pass its draft of the Farm Bill on May 23rd, lawmakers still have a long road ahead before a new Farm Bill is signed into law, particularly due to conflicting proposals around nutrition and climate provisions. NACo will continue to work with our partners in the House and Senate to pass a bipartisan farm bill that includes key county priorities. Thank you for watching, and visit NACo.org for all the latest information and resources.